to Choosing Plants. My name is Heather, and this is the channel where I do different 30-day vegan challenges to see which is a great lifestyle to live by and what might actually help with some weight loss and what might not, what works well, what does not work well. So in this video we are doing a recipe video for the potato cleanse, although I imagine you could make this any time of the day and any time of the year that you wanted to have a sweet potato soup. So we are making a vegan sweet potato chowder, and this is actually very simple in ingredients. So you know, usually simple is a good thing. So one of the things, this recipe comes from thekitchen.com, which is actually spelled kitchn.com, no E, so thekitchen.com, and I'll put that in the description below. Haven't tried this yet, so this is just a new experiment for us here. But the first thing that you do is you chop up like a medium-sized onion and chop that into slices, and then 2 or 3 stalks of celery. As you guys know, if you've been following me for a while, I don't go exactly by exact measurements. I just chop up what sounds good in terms of vegetables, because it's a vegetable, you know? So there's my onion, and there's my celery. Beautiful looking right now. And what we're going to do is we're going to put that into the pot, and we're going to let that saute for a little bit. Now it says to saute it in olive oil, and I don't use oil of any sort in our house. So I've actually made up some vegan broth, and I'm going to just put a little tiny bit of that in the bottom of the dish to get it to brown up nicely. I won't need much because I actually got a new pan for Christmas, and it's one of the non-stick, but it doesn't have a non-stick coating on it, but it's non-stick nonetheless. I don't know how that works. Anyways, it's a nice new pan. So we're going to do that part first, and then after that's been sauteing for maybe about 6 to 8 minutes, we're going to add in some garlic, and it calls for 2 cloves of garlic. I usually just dump some in. Love garlic. So that's going to go for a little while, and then after that has been cooking for about I think about 10 minutes total, what we're going to then do is add the sweet potatoes, and we're going to add the spices. And so in terms of sweet potatoes, I actually have just a regular sweet potato right there. I have 2 of those. And then I believe this is a Hannah sweet potato. I'll have to look that up for you and get back to you on that, but I think that the ones that are brown on the outside and white on the inside are the Hannah sweet potatoes. Not 100% sure. I'll let you know. But I thought 2 different types of sweet potatoes in there would be really good. So we're gonna do that with the broth, and then we're going to have a few spices that we're going to put in there. So I'm gonna end up putting a little bit of coriander in there, which, to be honest with you guys, I don't like coriander, so I'm going to measure that one. I'm not going to put excess of that in at all. Some sage. And that actually, it does call for dried sage, which is convenient because I never have fresh. It calls for sweet paprika, and I only have smoked, so I might put a little bit less paprika in there than I might normally if I had the sweet paprika. I don't. Black pepper, and it calls for some salt, which I will not add it at all because the vegan broth already has some salt in it, so there's no point in adding extra on top of that. I won't need it. So there we go. That's what we're going to do. And I will show you this as stages go by, and I'm going to go start the onions and the celery right now. Alrighty guys, so now that you can see that the onions and the celery are getting to be nice and done, we're going to add spices and sweet potatoes. So, like I told you, I'm not a huge fan of the coriander, so I'm actually, instead of adding a whole teaspoon, I'm going to add half of a teaspoon. And again, because I have the smoked paprika rather than the sweet paprika, again, we're going to add half of the teaspoon rather than a whole teaspoon. The sage says to add half of a teaspoon, so we're going to go with that. We're close thereabouts. And the black pepper says to add 1/4 of a teaspoon. And at this time you add the sweet potatoes. Okay, and the recipe does say to add 4 cups of Vegetable broth, I am adding 6 because I am fairly confident that I have more sweet potatoes in here than what the recipe called for. So there is our 6 cups of broth. I'm going to mix this up again now that it'll mix a little easier with the liquid in there. And then it's supposed to cook for, I believe, 20 minutes till the sweet potatoes are softened. So we're going to let this sit here and simmer for about 20 minutes, and I will check back with you guys when it's done. Alrighty guys, so it definitely looks done. It's actually been cooking for about 15 minutes now. It looks very nice. All the sweet potatoes are super, super tender. One thing it says to do is to take 2 cups of this out and to blend it and put it back. I'm all about making this the easiest way possible, so I'm going to blend it right in the bowl or in the pot, but I am going to try to be super careful because this is, I think, a non-stick surface and I don't really want to run my metal blender into it, but let's just do a little bit. That's enough. It looks nice and mixed. And then the one thing that I'm going to do that it does not say in the recipe is I'm going to add some greenery. You know, when in doubt, guys, add some more green. So I have just a couple handfuls here of baby kale that I chopped up. It's sweet baby kale. I think it'll go well with a sweet potato chowder. Just going to put that in there, and I'm probably going to just let it sit for maybe a minute or 2 and then turn it off, to be honest with you. So let's stir that in. Oh, doesn't that look delicious, guys? All right, I'm going to let that sit for maybe about 2 minutes, and then put it in a bowl and let you guys tell you guys what it is that it tastes like. I'm guessing delicious. So here is my sweet potato chowder. I believe that's what it's called. Let's take a look and get the for real name here. Vegan sweet potato chowder from thekitchen.com, which is Kitchen, no E. Looks very, very, very good. Very, very, very hot. Again, the kale is not part of the recipe. I just wanted to put some green in there. I actually think it would be really good with green beans as well, but I didn't want to go that far off-road. That's very good. Hot. I can safely recommend this for sure. It is very sweet, which is not any kind of a surprise because it's a sweet potato soup, and I think I didn't look them up yet, but I'm pretty sure those are Hannah yams that I put in there, and they're super sweet. They're delicious. Oh my gosh, they're so good. But yeah, this is really yummy. Yeah, I would definitely recommend making this. I did adapt the recipe, so when you go and look at the recipe, I changed the coriander to half a teaspoon, the paprika to half a teaspoon. The rest of that was the same. I added 6 cups of veggie broth rather than 4. No oil. And then obviously I used, it says 2 to 3 medium potatoes or 2 pounds of sweet potatoes. I probably used like 4 pounds of sweet potatoes. I mean, I used 3 sweet potatoes, but they were all very good size. None of them were a medium. They were all pretty much a large. Maybe the one was medium-ish, but they were all pretty good sized sweet potatoes. But I don't ever make anything that's in a tiny little amount, because what's the point? You know, you just run through it and you're like, oh, I wish I had more. So anyway, it's been another recipe on choosing plants. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'd like to hear from you if you've made this. It's pretty good. So if you make this, please leave in the comments field below whether or not, did you change it? Did you add something to it? Do you think there's something that would make it taste even better? You could totally get away with roasted red peppers in here. You could definitely get away with corn in here. You could actually get away with black beans in here, no problem, if you were looking for something heartier. Those are obviously not going to be part of my potato cleanse, but yeah, you could put a whole lot more green in here. If you wanted to, I could put, you know, a whole entire package of sweet kale, baby kale, if I wanted to. So yeah, highly recommend this one, guys. Go out and give it a try. Let me know what you think, and here's to eating some potatoes.